Welcome to Inside the Cardinal Playbook. This week, Larry Holley starts us off with basketball and a big win against Drury. Maybe a little bit disappointing effort against S&T. Let's start on a positive note, that huge win over number 2 Drury this week.
It was a lot of fun. Certainly they've had a great year. They were minus their best player, which certainly affected their ability as a team. But it was a great win, great atmosphere. It was our largest crowd of the year. They got into it pretty well, and we maintained a lead at the end and made some free throws, and it was a very significant win for our program.
You've told the story, I guess, a couple of different times about how Drury, coming off their national championship with 3 starters missing, still continued to play well, especially against Duke. Could you kind of go through that again for us?
Well, as most people know, whoever wins the national championship on the men's side, NCAA Division II, gets an exhibition game the following year at Duke. Bellarmine won the national title from our league in 2011. They got to play at Duke, and so Drury, winning the national title last year, got to go to Duke and play this past fall. Well, Drury's top 3 players all graduated. I mean, they had a first-team All-American. I mean, it was just a phenomenal team. Well, they go to Duke in the fall, minus their 3 best players, and at halftime, Drury is ahead of Duke at Cameron Indoor. And did I mention they had graduated their 3 best players? With 10 minutes to play in the game, Drury's ahead of Duke at Duke. And did I mention they were without the 3? So I mean, everybody just kind of set up and took notice. Right. Not that Drury wouldn't compete, but minus their 3 best players, and they're ahead of Duke at Duke, and so you knew they were good, and they've proved it. They've won every close game until except the Bellarmine game. Bellarmine beat them by 2, I think, in January, and that was the only blemish on the record. And Bellarmine was undefeated and ranked number 2 in the nation at the time, and they had a number of close games, but they'd won every one of them. So I'm really proud of our guys that we found a way to get it done. It's a significant win for our program, and very proud of the effort.
You trailed in that game and then kind of rallied to win it, but hit some free throws down the stretch. I thought Cyril Belong especially ended up with the ball in his hands several times, and while he didn't hit every free throw, he hit enough to keep us out in front. He
did. He had a nice game, and we've been starting him to give us a little more size on the floor. We've been starting 5'10", 6 foot on the perimeter. And actually, Drury's not a very tall team, and we actually weren't much shorter than them with our starting lineup. But Cyril at 6'4" is a good defensive player and gives us some offense, as you said, hit some big free throws, and proud of his effort in that game.
It was quite a scene, as you said, in the gym there late in that game, because people understood it was one of the best teams in the area. How big of a win is it, though, for us in terms of everything you can include, recruiting, the conference race, all of that?
Well, it's certainly a positive for us. Again, Drury, obviously defending national champs, ranked number 2 in the nation, had won 11 in a row, so they were on some streaks. And again, we'll see where it leads in terms of recruiting, but hopefully it helps us a little bit, and that's where we want to be. We want to be at that level. We're not there, obviously, but it's a step in the right direction.
After the Drury game, rather, I know you said we have to be careful against S&T because they can come in and blow us out if we're not playing well. It wasn't quite a blowout, but they did start off well. You did come out a little bit flat. Was that because of Drury?
I don't know if it's because of Drury. I want to give S&T credit. Some teams you just don't match up well with, and they double-team the ball in the backcourt a lot, and they do an effective job on our point guard, Dwight Sistrunk, but they play that way all the time, and they're averaging over 90 points a game, and they came out on fire. I mean, I'm not sure with our best defensive team if we'd have done much better, because everything was going in, and we couldn't throw it in the ocean. At the first time, the timeout after the 10-minute mark, we were 5 out of 20 from the field. And we weren't taking bad shots. Now, we may have been taking quicker shots because of the way they play, but we were missing no-footers, we're missing threes. They had a 17-point lead 5 different times in the first half, and we cut it to 12 at the half, and came out in the second half and played better. Actually, cut it to 1. I think about the 7-minute mark, something like that. And so I thought we were going to be okay, but then they to their credit, they regrouped, got the 9-point lead. But I think we might have been patting ourselves on the back a little bit, maybe reading our press clippings, try to get their attention on Friday, because we had lost at S&T by 12, so they weren't a surprise to us. But the way they shot the ball in that first half was phenomenal, and I think anybody in our league would have had a problem with them in the first half.
I checked the standings yesterday, and it doesn't have us listed as officially qualifying for the tournament yet, but we're in the tournament, aren't we?
We are. We are in the tournament. There are 4 teams, at least 2 games behind us, and so we're in. But we had a chance, had UMSL lost on Saturday, to perhaps host a game, but now we're most likely going to be on the road, and we could be anywhere from 9th to 12th, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we could go to Louisville, we could go to UMSL, we could go to S&T, we could go to Maryville, we could go to Southern Indiana. There's a variety of places we could be on the road. So, but you know, we need to take care of business obviously Thursday against Rockhurst, but the loss was disappointing for that reason as well, because it probably knocked out a chance for us to have another home game.
Let's talk about your senior that you lose off this team, as Devontae Bell played probably his final game at the Mabee Center. What has he meant to your program over 4 years? Very
proud of Devontae. He came in here as a freshman out of Clayton High School, a little bit of an unknown, but a great athlete, a little undersized, recruited him as a point guard, and these last 2 years we've actually played him at the 2, and brings a lot of energy to the floor. As I said, he'll come up with a rebound that just astounds you now and then, and his shooting's been a little inconsistent this year, but part of that's because of the scouting reports of the other team. And but he's provided good leadership. He brings it every day in practice, and really, I'm proud of him and what he's done in our program. He'll be missed, and he'll do well in life. He's going to graduate in the spring with a degree in business, and I wish him well. It's been a pleasure to coach him.
Rockhurst will be the final regular season game for the Cardinals, and that's coming up on Thursday night at Rockhurst. We dominated them with that 3-point shot at the very end to win by 3. Again, that was such a great play that Dwight hit that long shot to beat them. How good is Rockhurst at this point?
They're playing great. You know, obviously they played Drury Saturday, and they had a 15-point lead, I think, in the first half of that game. They lost in overtime. They're not going to make the playoffs, so this game Thursday is their final game of the year. They have seniors. I'm sure they're going to, you know, come out and play a great game. So we've got to be ready for that. We had a very comfortable lead in that game. I don't know if it was 11-12, what it was late, and Rockhurst came back and just knocked down several threes. And as you said, that play we drew up where you throw it into Dwight and he shoots a 70-footer, you know, it's exactly,
well executed.
Actually, exactly the way we drew it up, and swisheroo, and we win by 3. But you know, they're Coach O'Connor. They've had a tough year, but he's one of my good friends. Used to be on our staff, and he does a great job with them, and he's got them playing great right now, and that's a credit to him and to his staff and to their players, because they don't have a postseason opportunity as we do. So we'll have our hands full, but I think we'll recover. We've had 2 really good weeks of practice. We certainly had a letdown in the first half, playing-wise, against S&T, but I expect us to show up and play well Thursday.
It'll be the Cardinals at Rockhurst at Mason Halpin Fieldhouse, downtown Kansas City on Thursday night, and then the GLVC playoffs for the Jewel men. We will be back with more Inside the Cardinal Playbook as Jill Cress joins us after the break.
It's a great win for our program. Really happy for our players.
I'm Jesse Limekiller, the CEO of Belvoir Winery. You can reach us at www.belvoirwinery.com. We grow Norton, Chamberson, Fignol, and Muscat on the site. We have mature vines, 7 to 10 years of age, behind the buildings, and then we have 2 new vineyards that have just started up. We have a full bar available, and then in addition, a lot of people like to wander around the property. You can take your drinks and wander through the property and see all the things that there are to see on site. My name is Jesse Limekiller, CEO of Belvoir Winery, 110 years in the making.
Back inside the Cardinal Playbook with head women's basketball coach Jill Cress as the Cardinals get a big win against Missouri S&T on Saturday that now has you in the playoffs. And after a season that's been kind of weird for you, that's got to feel great.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't sure we were going to make that for a while, and you know, we knew if we won one of them, we were going to get in there. And you know, it was a great game, 83-81, and but yeah, it does. And again, we have the Rockers. It would be nice to get on a 2-game winning streak before going into playoffs. And again, I really think, and I told the players, if we could get ourselves into playoffs, you look at how we've played some of the teams. I know we can at least play with them and have a chance.
It was a game against S&T that was very entertaining to watch. They played hard. Carly Sample had a huge game, a career high for her with 34 points for them. Could you tell a story about her making a decision between Jewel and S&T?
Yeah, actually it was between us, S&T, and Northwest, and when we were at the Northwest Missouri State tournament, we were recruiting her and she was in a Northwest shirt, and I'm like, are you serious? And she started laughing. And but actually, it did come down to Jewel and S&T in the end, and you know, S&T had the engineering program that she could just go through and not transfer and be able to get it, and so that's how we lost her. And you know, I went through the line at the end and told her I still think she would have looked better in black and red. And great player and great person from St. Joe Benton, and we really didn't have an answer for her.
No.
You know, obviously with 34, and tried different people on her, tried doing different things, but. Really good player.
She had 25 against us at Rolla, too, so she had a nice series against us this year. We had Seniors Day on Saturday against S&T, and the 3 seniors were honored, but toward the end of the game, Cassie Nicolay went down, and as we're taping this on Monday, what is the word on her injury?
Yeah, actually, we still don't really know. You know, we're hoping that it's a bone bruise. I was concerned with ACL, and I think everybody was at first, and the doctors kind of looked at that, and feels pretty good that that's not what it is. You know, so I was feeling pretty good about a bone bruise until I talked to some other coaches, and one coach had a redshirt a player because of a bone bruise that they couldn't get over. But I talked to Cassie. She's pretty sore. Talked to the athletic trainer, and she said the same thing. The swelling's not there, but it's kind of going to be a day by day. And you know, for me, knowing that we're in playoffs, I'd rather just kind of sit her and let her try to get back and be able to go then on Sunday.
Well, it came at a time, and I think I remember this correctly, that you were tied when she went out of the ball game. And so, again, it's got to be real positive you were able to rally and win that game with her sitting on the bench.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, again, our players came in, did a great job, and Kenzie Johnson had a huge rebound for us. And yeah, when she was going off, Cassie told them to win the game. And, you know, those 3 seniors, those kids have so much respect for them, or our players do. And I know, you know, in some way that kind of inspired them also. And yeah, I was really proud of them. And senior night's always special for me. And it was just kind of different having 2 kids. 2 of my seniors hurt. You know, Jess Wheeler was sitting out of that game with a concussion. And
how was she, by the way?
She's actually doing pretty well. We're going to try, there's like a 5-step series to get them back to playing, and as long as every step goes well, so they're going to try to do 1 and 2 today, and you know, there's a chance that she could play with Rockers. Otherwise, hopefully she'll be able to play on Sunday.
We head into Thursday night's game with Rockhurst, and as you said, having qualified already, will there be not lineup changes, but will you try to rest people so they're ready to go on Sunday?
No, I'm not a big believer in that. You know, even if Cassie was you know, really solid to go, we would go with her. I really think going in there, we need to get some momentum. And you know, and I'm just not a big believer in resting people. I don't think that does a lot of good. I think it's good for them to keep playing and going and staying in that. So, no, we're going to go after the win. And you know, we've been playing a lot of people. I thought, you know, without Jess Wheeler the other day, that other kids got some playing time. Did a nice job there too. Zinga hit a couple threes. Kelsey Nickerson did a great job defensively, and there were players that got the opportunity there. And again, you know, if it ends up where Jess can't play and Cass can't play, you know, that's okay. I know we have kids that can step into that role also, but I'd like to be able to play the way we're going to go ahead and play on Sunday too.
Well, the theme for you the last couple of weeks has been we need to build on the energy we have and increase that energy. Did you get that over the weekend with the loss to Drury, but also the win against S&T? Yeah,
and even with that loss to Drury, I thought we played really well. We just didn't have an answer to 6-7, you know, and but again, you know, Rockers played Drury into overtime. And Rockers right now is without their leading scorer, was a freshman, and Mary Deenan, is out with a torn ACL against McKendree, and so when you look at how they've been playing, that's going to be a tough game for us. But no, I think our effort was good with the Drury. I thought it was good with S&T. S&T really came out after us, and they were in the same spot that we were. That they needed to win, and they're still kind of on the bubble. Some teams lose are going to be in it, and if they can upset Drury, they're definitely in it. But everybody's playing for that. Rockhurst really doesn't have a shot to be in it, and so it's kind of in the same boat as with the men's team. Rockhurst is going to be pretty fired up. It's their last game of the year, and so we need to expect that and hopefully be able to answer that and get a win.
Back to the Drury game, and you mentioned Amber Dvorak, the 6'7" post player. There is no answer for that when they're throwing the ball over the top. What different things did you try, and what was the most successful, if anything?
Actually fouling her was the most successful because, it just slowed things down, and because when she got it in there, she was going to make the basket. She could get herself down there, and again, I thought we worked really hard to try to keep the ball from her. We tried playing in front, tried playing behind, tried doubling, tried pushing, and so finally, just foul her and don't let her shoot it, and so she went to the line, and we just don't have offensively. I think we're fine against her because we can pull her out and do some different things that way. Defensively, and you would hear, and we would get the game back to within like 6 or 7 points, and she would come in, and you would hear Coach Huber yelling, get it to Amber, which is what they needed to do, and they did a nice job.
You do the same thing.
I definitely would, and so he does a nice job with that, and if we get a chance of getting to Evansville and have another chance of playing them, we'll go after it and see what happens.
Finally, and you've touched on this a little bit, but talk about the 3 seniors because they've been obviously a big part of this program for a long time.
Yeah, actually, for me, I love to have players in 4 years, and all 3 of the kids have been in our program for 4 years, and just super people on and off the floor, and really special to me, and they're all kids that just give you a great effort all the time, and then you look at their GPAs are all been academic and in the GLVC and William Jewell. They're just great William Jewell kids, and for me that's the most fun is to watch them come in as freshmen and then to see them grow and mature through that and know what they're going to do or have an idea what they're going to go do, and then to watch them now when they go.
That is Jill Cress, head basketball coach for the Cardinals, as they claim a playoff spot in the GLVC and will be in that postseason tournament. Play Rockhurst Thursday, and then the postseason starts on Sunday. Thank you, Jill, and we will be back with more in a moment.
I'm a helpful smile in the meat department.
My favorite season of the year is grilling season.
We can give you grilling tips and recipes. No matter if it's our Armana beef, IV Angus beef, or Mal pork,
or marinated chicken.
T-Bone's New York Strips Blaze.
Any way you want cut, you got it.
I show people how they can tell that it's medium rare without even cutting into it.
I am a helpful
Amana Angus
expert griller.
Tip-giving smile.
And that's my promise.
Hi, I'm Rachel Callaghy, Head Connections Specialist with Welcome Opportunities, the Northland's only target marketing firm that specializes in turning the thousands of new residents who move to our area each year into your customers. We are the advertising option that's never turned off, torn up, or tossed out. At least not yet, anyway. So if you're looking for the most cost-effective way to reach prospective customers before your competitors, give me a call today at 816-883-8633 or visit my website at welcomeopportunities.com.
Boy, she
nice
finds
drive.
space out of thin air.
Tyler's really excited to be here.
Welcome back to Inside the Cardinal Playbook. I'm Rick Cole, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to the new volleyball coach at William Jewell College. Carolyn Raynes comes to us from Tarleton State in Texas, but you're local. You grew up in this area, right?
Yes, sir. I grew up in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, where did you go to high school?
Lawrence High.
Lawrence
so
High
the
School?
Original.
And then on to
Washburn University.
Where you played as a setter, right?
Yes, yes.
I've noticed, we talked about this in another interview we did, I noticed right away that you're left-handed, which is a real advantage for a setter.
Yes, it is.
Did you take advantage of that in college as an attacker as well?
Absolutely, I did. My coach at the time, he loved the fact that I was a left-handed player, and in fact, sometimes I used it too much as a setter.
Really?
And so he transitioned me a little bit into the right side.
I want to talk about all of the things that you plan to do here at Jewel, but first let's talk again a little bit about your background. You played at Washburn. Did you play in a 5-1 or a 6-2, or what did you play?
Typically it was a 5-1, and he went back and forth a couple different times, like most coaches do, figuring out what works best. So most of the time he ran a 5-1, and so that was kind of nice, getting to run the whole offense the whole time.
Right, yeah, and Washburn, a great program. What kind of success did you have as a player there?
We had really good success as a team. We actually traveled to the Final Four, and that was an experience in itself. We got to host the national championship in our gym. Didn't quite make it there. We lost the match before, but you know, I got a couple great medals and things like that from making it to the conference tournament and on to the NCAA.
As a player, what's one of your better memories at Washburn?
Well, I went in as a freshman behind a really good Division I transfer setter, and I thought that maybe it would just be my time to figure things out. Unfortunately, she had an injury, and I got to step in there. We went on, and the players around me really helped me as a freshman.
Right.
And we had a great, you know, I had a stint there where we didn't lose a conference match for a long time.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
I'll bet it was.
Yeah, good teammates that helped me out for sure.
When you leave Washburn, you had a high school coaching job for a couple of years and had some success there as well.
I did at Shawnee Heights High School. It's a 5A school in Tecumseh, Kansas, and we went on for the first time in 10 years and went to the state tournament, finished third. That was a very exciting for especially the seniors. That was a part of that. Continued the next year, and we did really well. Had a winning record, but lost right before sub-state to my rival and best friend at the time. That was at Seaman High School. Yeah. So
you had some success there, and I think it must translate pretty well to kind of what you're going to have to face here at Jewel. You come in, you inherit players, have success right away. I want to talk about Tarleton here in a moment, but do you see kind of a parallel there from the high school first year coaching?
I'm hoping so, and I think that when I took over that program, just bringing a different energy really helped, and that's kind of my goal here, is to just bring some change and direction and hope that the kids that are here and the players that I've recruited are going to buy into that. And so far, it's been pretty good. So.
And I know I'm jumping around a little bit here, but let's talk about Tarleton. After, what, 2 years of the high school ranks?
Yes.
How long did you coach at Tarleton?
I was there for 2 years as well, so, you know, not to be worried that I'll be only here for 2 years. That's not my plan. But after I was there for 2 years as an assistant, I had a great mentor. She really helped me figuring out how to be successful at that level. So.
Tarleton is in Stevensville?
Stephenville, Texas. Yes, the cowboy capital of America.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
And Division II, of course, so that's a big help. Is that your building block for the Division II program here at William Jewell?
Yes, I think it plays a big part in that, as does all of my experiences that I've had so far. Like I said, she was a great mentor. She taught me a lot about recruiting, about dealing with the compliance, and just how to manage a team at that level. So.
You talked a moment ago about the energy that it's going to take, but what are your other priorities as you start out here at Jewell?
I think the biggest thing is going to be figuring out the characteristics that our team wants to be. And so I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks getting to know each player. What are their personal goals? Where do they see the team being? And the best thing about it is we all seem to be on the same page, that we want to be successful and we want to do it the right way. So.
Is it sitting down like you and I are sitting down now talking, or is it working with them a little bit on the court, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I try to, you know, every day during the week we've done some sort of individual, whether it's one-on-one or with a small group, and I've had the opportunity to pull most of them aside at one point or had them in my office and just, you know, getting to know them, because like you said, I inherited these players, and I want to make sure that what we're doing, we're on the same page. So.
How many kids do you have coming back from last year's team?
We have 9 coming back, and 2 of those are going to be seniors, and I'm excited about the leadership roles that they're going to step into. And we have some really good underclassmen as well that, you know, were a big factor last year, and I expect to be able to build a good program with those kids.
I know it's awful tough to evaluate. You've just been here for a couple of weeks, but can you give us an idea of maybe what was in store as far as what your offense will be and all of that here?
Well, you know, I think going into it, we've picked up another setter, actually a 6-foot right side as well, and so
That's nice to have.
That is, and so I'm thinking we'll kind of work into a 6'2", and is my mindset. Obviously, it might change completely,
Yep.
But I like the idea of having 3 kids in the front row that can hit all the time. I'm never opposed to 5'1", and especially if a setter really steps out there and is saying, this is my role, I need to be in there and proving that, then absolutely. I think that I know in the GLVC they're typically known for running a faster offense, so that's something that I think we'll incorporate as long as we can do it well. And passing the ball well is going to obviously be a huge part.
Yeah.
But as a coach, I want them to be able to be aggressive and feel comfortable being aggressive. I know that mistakes happen in volleyball. That's how you score points.
Right.
So that's going to be my emphasis, is encouraging them to be aggressive and figuring out how to be consistently that way. So
you talked about the passing game. How about the serving game? Are you real aggressive with your serving game, trying to score points?
It's part of your offense, and I've always believed that it's not just a way to get the ball in play. It's a way for you to score and to take them out of their system, and so that's kind of my, you know, I encourage them to be aggressive. Yeah, there's going to be kids that are like, just get it into the court, but I've seen some really good servers so far on the team that, I mean, they get that ball over there and score points that way. So
right. You talked a little bit about the returners. How about your recruits so far? And again, just a short amount of time to work on that, but can you tell us anything about how recruiting is going? You mentioned one.
Yes, we actually have been I've been lucky having Coach Bradley, who was assistant last year. He kind of kept recruiting going, and we had a good conversation yesterday about the fact that the kids that he's brought to me in the beginning are almost all the kids that we've signed so far.
Oh, nice.
So, you know, most head coaches that walk into this position don't get that. They have to start from ground one and work their way up. So he did a great job of bringing me kids that he was hoping would fit, and there were some that didn't, and there were some that really did, and one of them was a setter from St. Louis, and then we have Danny, the 6-foot right side. She's from Minnesota, and then we have another kid from Minnesota that just signed this last weekend, a little redhead, so obviously I'm a big fan of her, and all of them, of course, and so we're looking to get 9 more to add on to that. So
9 more?
9 more is where we're at, so doubling the number that we currently have. And we have 7 signed or committed so far.
Carolyn, tell us a little bit about your family growing up in Lawrence. Your folks there? You have brothers and sisters?
My sister is in St. Louis right now. She's getting married this summer. Okay. So that, you know, she's excited to have me closer than Texas because I think she's going to put me to work with a lot of wedding stuff.
You're in the wedding, right?
I am. Okay. I am. And then both my parents live in Lawrence, and my father is a small business owner. And you know, I had a conversation with him yesterday about thank you for teaching me how to have good relationships and really focus on, you know, connecting with people, because that's a huge part of my job now, whether it's with administration or with my players. So, and then my mom is there as well, and you know, they're happily married and happy to have me back around.
Yeah, back in the neighborhood. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Carolyn Raynes has been our guest here, the new volleyball coach at William Jewell College, and we'll have a final word inside the Cardinal Playbook coming up in a moment.
Tanner's is new to Liberty, just south of the Highway 152 and I-35 intersection. They're open Sunday through Tuesday from 11 a.m. until midnight, and Wednesday through Saturday from 11 until 1:30 a.m. Come in any day for food specials in the spacious dining area. Happy hour specials are served from 2 spots in the building, and the service is fast and friendly. Tanner's of Liberty, just south of the Highway 152 and I-35 intersection.
At Shelter Insurance, we're people who know that the first love of your life...
I need you to take the shoes off.
...might have been made of steel.
Thank you.
Shelter Insurance. For your auto, home, and life. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Agent Kimberly Sidden about Shelter's auto insurance discounts.
Before the game or after the game, it's Poor Boy Oil Company for your pre- and post-game food and beverage. ConocoPhillips and BP Amoco Fuels get you to the game, and our large vendors give you great food and beverage choices before or after the game. Our small-town roots and family value philosophies help us to maintain the highest standards in customer service and value. Poor Boy Oil Company. Find us around the Northland, wherever the Cardinals fly.
And that's Inside the Cardinal Playbook for this week. Again, the Cardinals play on Thursday night at Rutgers, and then the basketball team in the GLVC playoff, both of them at a site to be determined on Sunday. Join us next week for more Inside the Cardinal Playbook.